Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Sobriety University. Today, we're going to be talking about just focus on quitting weed. So, this is a pattern that I've seen come up a lot with people in consulting, and that is that they try to do too much at once. And I can relate to this. I do the same thing. Like, I'm not privy to this at all. And there's definitely been periods of my time in my life where I've been like, okay, I got this big task to accomplish. I'm just going to do everything else but focus on this task. So this video is really about, and by the end of this video, you'll know why it's important to just focus on quitting weed while you're quitting weed. Of course, you got other things to take care of, right? I'm not saying like just literally sit in a cave and quit weed. No, you're gonna have to go to your job. You're gonna have to take care of, maybe family things, relational things. But really the main focus in terms of like self-improvement, self-development, keep that focus to quitting weed. Because let's be honest, quitting weed is not an easy task. It is not like, you just wake up one day and you just quit weed. Obviously, eventually you do that, but the process to quit takes some time. So for me, I got lucky in this where, I didn't have too much going on. So I wasn't trying to like build my business or anything like that, or I don't know, have a relationship. I was literally just like, let's just focus my whole day on how I can stay off weed or reduce the amount of weed I'm using, right? So for you, you might be like really trying to create, right? You maybe one guy that I've been working with, like he's really focused on his business, right? He really wants to create a great business and he's making a lot of progress on it. But I think what's happened is that this person's wanted to put too much time into that business and kind of maybe putting too much pressure on themselves, right? Like, I got to be doing this 100%, and at the same time, I'm trying to quit weed, right? Now, I think there's a balance to this. So he's found a good balance where he's still working on the business, like he's not just giving it up, and he's also obviously still working on quitting weed. I think though, if you do have the opportunity to really just focus on, okay, how can I get weed out of my life starting today, right? Put everything else secondary. Right? So obviously you still got to do it, but take away the expectation like, okay, I got to make all this progress and just, tackle the world today. Because that can add a lot of pressure. And what can happen, and what I've seen from this guy and from, other people I've helped as well, and myself, is that we start putting really high expectations on ourselves. Like, oh my God, I got to do this. I got to conquer this. I'm going to conquer this. And we get really fired up in the beginning. So obviously this isn't like a black and white thing where it's like, okay, this is going to be like a forever thing. It's not like you don't make progress. But people can get really in the headspace like, okay, I got to be perfect at all these things. And they just get so fired up, so motivated, which is a good thing. And you get the kind of the pink cloud effect where you're just like, yes, I'm going to do it. I've committed to this. I'm going to quit weed. I'm going to tackle my business. And this is pretty normal. I've done the same thing, bro. There's been, whenever I started a new venture or anything, it's like, I'm going to go 100%. I'm so fired up. I'm so excited. And the reality of the situation kicks in, whether it be the business, whether it be the relationship. And these things take work. They take time. They're not just going to happen overnight. So what can happen is that we get into this headspace, I'm just going to tackle the world. And then we realize, no, I'm not going to get as much done as I wanted. Oh, this is going to take more time than I wanted. And what I see with a lot of folks is then they get upset. It's like they get disappointed, right? They lose that motivation. And therefore it's like, I'm just going to frick it. I'm just going to smoke weed and go back to my old life, right? And that cycle then continues and perpetuates, right? Now, what the kind of solution to this would be is be like, okay, you know what? Let's set some clear expectations, right? Why don't I say, okay, I'm going to put everything else secondary, right? My relationships, my business. These are going to be things I'm going to take care of and address, but I'm not going to need to master them today, right? So I'm going to focus on this. Beautiful. And then let's see what's going to happen, right? With the weed. Let's say I dedicate all that energy to the weed, right? The only main goal I have, again, everything else is a primary goal. My main goal is to get 1 day off weed, right? 1 day off weed. Let's do that. And then 2 days off weed, 3 days off weed, right? And by the time, because you haven't put so much pressure on yourself to accomplish these other things, and you don't get disappointed if you don't accomplish them because you set those reasonable expectations, then you don't get depressed and you're not like, you don't need to cover it up by smoking weed. Because I think what I see is like when people have that disappointment, they want to cover up that disappointment with the weed. And the disappointment only comes from unrealistic expectations. So this guy, and shout out if you know who you are, we talked about this on one of his calls, is like, hey, look, he's like, I think I'm setting too high expectations for myself. And I think I'm being too unrealistic. And so that was a good sign and tell for me that, okay, like, let's curtail your expectations, right? Let's work on that. And it's not a negative thing in any means. Like it means that, and you might have a lot of expectations too. It means that you want a lot for yourself, and that's beautiful. It's just learning how to structure those out so that you can tackle them one at a time and actually get results in them. So continuing on, let's say you do this plan, right? You're like, okay, I'm gonna put everything to the side, and you just focus on quitting weed. And because you do that, because you don't get disappointed and you relapse, and you're not trying to tackle a million things, and you get overly stressed, and then you smoke weed to cover up, the stress, and you're really able to just kind of take a couple months, 2-3 months to really get off the weed. Then by the time weed's no longer in your life, then you have all this time and energy to focus on the business, focus on putting 100% in the relationships. And what you'll find is that then you're not relapsing, one. Two, you're actually making more progress in your business than you were if you were kind of doing the back and forth. And then you actually hit those expectation goals because you can set expectations that are now realistic to your new life circumstance, your new life situation, which is one without marijuana, which is one where you have more free time, you have more motivation naturally, and you're not just suppressing it with weed. Because what happens too is in this business stuff, we have big expectations like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do all this stuff, right? But we can't actually, the weed kills that motivation to get it done. So what might take a day of work gets spread out over a week because of I didn't do as much as I want, so I'm going to relapse. I'm going to try again. I'm going to go hard in my business, blah, blah, blah. Or I'm going to go really hard in my relationships. And then they don't go to expectations. Oh, I'm going to smoke weed. And then that negative cycle starts to perpetuate versus like taking things one thing at a time. So I think I kind of made my point across at this point. I'm sure you can understand. You guys are all smart people. You obviously weeds probably expanded your mind in that sense, and a lot of you did come from like good educational backgrounds, etc. So in no way does this probably not make sense to you. I think the real thing that I want you to get across from this video is to really consider just dedicating a couple months, which 2-3 months, which in the grand scheme of things is not a lot of time. I promise you. You'll look back and it'll just be like just one memory, one thought, just, I quit weed at this point in my life. Boom, done. I think if you can really dedicate that those 2 to 3 months to quit, you're going to find a lot more long-term success and a lot more ultimately fulfillment, and then be able to ironically accomplish your goals and your business dreams and your relationships better than you would have if you were trying to go half in on each one. So guys, let me know what you think about this video. If this resonates with you, comment down below. As always, you can schedule a consult to work with me personally, and we can kind of dive into this a little deeper, find out how this might actually work to your life situation, because I know everybody has a different life going on, right? Each person's a little different in how they need to address quitting weed. There are similarities though, and once you can identify the similarities and figure out, okay, if I can do X, Y, or Z, and X, Y, or Z time, I can probably get rid of weed and be free of this, right? But it does take a little curtailing, and you might have, a business that you actually have to attend to, right? So in that situation, it's like, okay, let's let my business partner know, or my business partners, that I'm going to be taking some time. I'm going to be less gung-ho about this, right? And that's, I'm still going to work on it. I'm still going to put in my work, but I'm not going to be as like fired up. Like, give me a few months and then I'm going to be back in it, like, 100%, right? And that I think will give, if you really do have business partners that care about you, they're going to understand and give you that grace to figure this out for yourself, because they know that, okay, you work on this, you're going to only help the business by getting weed out of your life, obviously. No one wants a lazy business partner. I'll tell you that much. And then with your relationships too. Okay, so let's say, you have kids, you have your family, right? You let your family know, hey guys, look, I got something I got to deal with, right? You got your wife or husband or whatever. I'm going to dedicate some time to this. I'm not going to be as maybe emotionally available, and I'm going to change a little bit. Let them know, give them reasonable expectations, so that and that they know what you're going to be going through, right? And they're not like, whoa, why is Sarah being all weird or whatever. They're going to have reasonable expectations, and then let them know. Really reassure your family that, hey, look, I'm going to be maybe a little emotionally absent for a while, but I'm going to come back stronger. I'm going to come back better. I'm going to come back happier. And you guys are going to like me more too. So it's going to be a win-win for everybody. So with that, guys, subscribe if you haven't already. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.